Happy Friday, people. We are live here Friday night, Pint, and it should be a good one. It should be a little bit of a happier one, a more uplifting one. Not been a much positive to talk about, but we're going to have a laugh. Only a little bit of moaning about football kits, but, you know, it's all meaningless. Nicky will be here shortly. He's just, I believe he's in traffic at the moment.
Mate, I'll tell you, round our way, the last 2 days, traffic has been murder.
Speak of the devil and he shall appear in the background. He's here. He looks like he's just rolled in at nick of time, like a hero.
Almighty. All I've done for 2 days is sat in traffic.
Yeah, it's bloody.
Mate, how bad was that yesterday? I'm happy I missed it.
5 hours I sat in it for. 5 hours.
Bloody
I got home at
hell.
9:30 last night. There we go.
So yeah, like I said, lots to get into. Before we start, obviously, we want to all send our condolences to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva and their families.
Yes.
Awful news, and you know, everyone here, we're all thinking of them. The West Ham family are with all of them, I'm sure. So yeah, thoughts with all of them.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just speaking about this on another channel. It puts everything into perspective once you start to look at things like this. You know, life is life, and life is very precious, and life is very fragile. And you know, when you think about, you know, 2 people's fathers, 2 people's partners, 2 people's sons have tragically lost their life, no matter who they play for, no matter what the football is, and all that. You know, there's 2 people that didn't come home yesterday, and you know, that's tragic. It is very tragic. It's tragic for everyone at Liverpool Football Club. It's tragic for everyone, for the Jota family. And you know, when you look at what we're going to be complaining about tonight, it doesn't, you know, it's no comparison. So yeah, just take that as a, you know, everything with a pinch of salt, so to speak, because life can be taken away and is very cruel. So there we go.
That's it. It's all trivial in comparison what we're talking about today,
yes.
Football shirts and the like. But like I said, it hasn't been the most positive stuff to talk about on a lot of the Friday night pints. But we may be close to a transfer. Now, I'm not going to say this player's name because I'm so excited, so interested for Scott to say this man's name, the player.
Should we give him a chance first? Because I can say it, right?
No, wait. I don't know. I would like Scott to just say it what he thinks it is, and then we say it, and then see if Scott can say it after we've said it.
Yeah. Well, to me, it looks like Hadji, Malick Diouf.
Well done. Well done.
And that's
I'm impressed. Disappointed at the same time.
Hadji Malick Diouf.
Yeah, Diouf. Yeah, Hadji Malick Diouf. Yeah.
Still can't say Czech's name, but he'll get through that one.
Check Chioti.
He's been practicing that one for 10 years and all. So
yeah, isn't it? That's I'm really pleasantly surprised there, Scott. I was not expecting that. You were sitting there. You know how serious he looked. He was going. He said, "It's like really concentrating."
Yeah, I was reading it, breaking it down. You know,
It looked like you was doing it the whole time while I was.
As soon as you said it, I was looking at it because I didn't even know who the guy. I don't even know who the guy is.
So yeah, apparently, like we've been having talks with Slavia Prague for the signing of Diouf. Apparently, he's willing to come.
You fucking say it. You say his
Hadji Malick Diouf. Eh?
All right. He couldn't say that. I was you the other day.
I'm the pronunciation king. What did I say the other day? Yeah, I did.
Not that. It wasn't that. That's for sure.
No, not that. Yeah. True. No, I thought I can't let Scott show me up, so I've got to be on it.
He was sweating, then. He was sweating over that. Then I know it. I know him as well. He's very competitive. He's got a very competitive nature. He's going to be. He saw Scott say that, and he thought, "Fuck it! Oh, I better get this."
Yeah, right. Scott starts beating me on name pronunciations. I'm in trouble. But yes, player, like I said, Slavia Prague. We're close to having talks in the region. It's about 20 to 25 million they're looking for. And there's been around the talks today where we're keen to try and get the deal done. Left back, like me and Nicky spoke about this the other day, primarily a left back can play in other positions, but played left back against England the other day for Senegal and looked really good. Looks kind of quick, not lightning quick, but looks quick, direct, athletic.
Funny enough. That's what he says, Damien.
Slow and injury prone. I mean, he didn't look slow to me. I mean, he looked like he had a bit of a drive on him. And like I said, he don't look like he's got rapid pace, but he doesn't look like he moves through quicksand like most of our players.
Yeah.
But injury prone, that's something I haven't looked at his injury record, and I can have a check of that now because that would be a worry. But with talks that Emerson could be moving on, we could be moving Emerson on. He comes in, I guess, competes with Scholes. Yeah, I mean, as well, you surprised as well? Like, I mean, you don't always sign your priorities first, but it's interesting. Like, we're straight out like on it for a left back.
It's getting the business done, isn't it? If that deal can be done, then you might as well get it done and get it out of the way. You know, it makes perfect sense if that's an easy deal to get over the line. You know, you put your bid in. Typical us though, bidding under the asking price and trying to get a better deal for ourselves. We never seem to do that when we sell players. We always seem to do it when we try to buy players. Yeah, it does make sense to get that done. You know, you look at the market for strikers and things like that, it's going to be a lot more competitive. This guy's on the radar. He's a signing that we want. So we're doing the right thing of going out there and trying to get it sealed straight away.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think when it comes to signings, I think if there's a deal to be done and there's already talks been, you know, don't dilly-dally trying to get other deals done before you get one that's, you know, on the table, because there could be someone that comes in. I've heard good reports. I haven't seen a lot of people. Somebody said to me in the comments just then, if you want to get excited, look at his highlights versus England. I don't know whether they're being facetious there or they're being honest or whatever, but I'll have a look at that later because I didn't watch that England game. Funny enough, I missed that England game completely. So I'll have a look at that.
You didn't miss much, mate. You didn't miss much.
I know I didn't miss much. But,
friendlies.
You know, when it comes to, you know, getting excited for a player, I don't watch. No, so someone's going to be very, very good. I don't watch much, but people have been saying he's a Champions League level player. Now, if there's a Champions League level player to be done now, I do think we need cover at left back. I don't think Emerson wasn't as good as he has been. He's obviously aging. He could be moving on. So if there's a deal to be done, do it. But that doesn't mean we can't do other things in the meantime. It's the thing that interests me the most about this deal is how is it being done if there's absolutely no money? So there must be something happening behind the scenes with someone in terms of like moving someone on, because we know who it's likely to be. We know we don't want it to be too. But in terms of how close that deal is, that deal might be closer than we think.
I mean, we've got an update. We got an update on that for a bit later as well, the Cudus deal. But on Damien's point, I'll be interested to see where you got this injury prone thing from. And I'm not where you might be a Czech.
He missed 46 days last year with injury, I've heard.
Yeah, so what it was is he had two injuries, a broken leg and an ankle injury. So he missed 30 days with a broken leg. Yeah, he missed 30 days with a broken leg and 16 days with an ankle injury. Which I wouldn't call it injury prone.
Yeah, I would say that was a very opposite to injury prone if he's missed 30 days with a broken leg.
Oh, you're talking about Fulkrug. All right. So, look, and he's only 20 years old. So, I mean, you know, his recovery ability at that age is a lot better than a lot of people. So, when he said slow and injury prone, he was talking about Fulkrug. Okay, that makes sense. Like a 20-year-old, so we're bringing the age of the squad down. It is interesting what that would mean for Scholes, because you've got two, a 19 and a 20-year-old competing for the same spot, you know, whereas you'd think maybe you'd have more experience, then Scholes can be an understudy there. But I don't know whether he's had a look at him and he don't rate Scholes.
I don't think that Potter doesn't rate Scholes, mate. I think it's just the fact that we're trying to drive the average age of the side down. Let's be honest. You know, if you've got a player that's coming in that is rumoured to be, again, I don't know anything about him, so I ain't going to try and comment. What Nicky says there is a Champions League level type of player, then you know we've got one of those in Emerson. but as we alluded to, he's getting older now. So, it's time for him to move on. But if you're letting someone who's played in the Champions League final, who's won the Champions League, go to a player that's meant to be at that level, it's a perfect fit. What worries me is, again, we'll be with two inexperienced Premier League left wing backs, but also with them our number one right wing back and enough number one left wing back are going to be buggering off in the winter to play in the African nations.
Well,
instead, he's just very exposed to both competitions.
Yeah, someone brought that up, that we're going to be losing right back and left back.
Yeah, I mean that's good for Scholes. Then if Scholes will get an opportunity for that, we are going to need a non-African right wing back, and I'm not talking about mayhem. Don't cancel me. All I mean is someone that's not going to be going.
Someone's going to clip that.
Someone's going to clip that. I'm cancelled. It's been nice, everyone. No, someone who's not going to the African Cup of Nations, because that's just, let's be really realistic. That's stupid. That's a stupid thing to do, is have two players in the same position going away for the same tournament. So we need someone who's not going to AFCON. They can be of African descent. They just can't be playing in AFCON. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and that is the worry. If we ended up, say we even kept Cudus, when we get into that period of time when the AFCON starts, we'd lose our left winger, a left back, a right back, and we've got no covering in positions as well. We have on the left wing with Somerville, but it is a worry when you look at it that way. We've let Soufal go. We've got to be looking at bringing someone through to play in that right back / right wing back position. And okay, we have got Scholes, and Scholes got a good bit of game time under Potter. So I don't think Potter doesn't fancy him. I just think that
he did get less time towards the end, though. Scott seemed to play him less towards the end of the season.
But I think who played there the last game of the season?
Left back.
Yeah.
It was, I think Wan-Bissaka played there, because I think Soufal played, didn't he?
So unless Scholes was injured, that's a little bit of a worry. With what Dan was saying, when you think about it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was one of them. Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka. So again, that is a bit of a worry. If he doesn't fancy Scholes, then you're going to need two left backs.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, if he don't fancy Scholes, then he might as well keep Emerson and get Diouf in, right? Then
exactly.
That makes more sense. All this talk about moving Emerson on.
I don't get moving Emerson on. We've let Creswell go. Which I think was the right move. He had some good games last season, but again, you've got to freshen up the squad a bit. You've got a left back there now who's won everything there is to win in Europe, who's got vast amount of experience, and any player, as much as Creswell uses experience to help Scholes through, a player like Emerson, he's got valuable experience at the top level. So you want to keep him within the squad to pass that experience on to the younger players.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, none of us can be accused of being experts on Czech football and watching him on a regular basis. And I'd be surprised if anyone in the chat is. At the moment, I'm just in a stage of I'm just going to put my trust in Carl McCauley and Potter and whoever they decide. And unless it's someone that we know is just shit and we're like, why the hell are we signing these? But these unknown ones, it's just a case of, okay, right, as long as they have the right profile, they have the pace, they're not old, they're not broken down, injury-prone players, and they're the right profiles, I'm happy because we are too much of a slow team, and I've said it time and time again. Get some pace in this side.
Yeah, we need some energy. We need some big energies.
Yeah. It was absolutely devoid of it.
I honestly think this as well. If you look at the build of our side, even with Cudus and Paquetá gone, but last season especially, if you had a bit of energy in that midfield and something to transition quickly from backwards to frontwards, I don't think we're a bad side. You know what I mean? I don't think we're a bad side at all. I think the energy in the midfield really stops us from playing it because there's so much of a disconnect between the back and the front. Getting that ball out, getting that ball off of a team. Like at times last season, we defended really well. But it was just the fact that we couldn't attack, we couldn't piece that together. That we didn't have the tools in the midfield. Like, you know, Ward-Prowse, you'd hope would come a little bit deeper and come and get it. If it had been 3 years ago, Ward-Prowse, I think it would have worked. But you know, the energy levels of the midfield last season and the pace and the power and what they can do in terms of with the ball, it just wasn't quick enough. It wasn't quick enough, you know, getting it. You know, if you think you've got two, especially when Somerville was there, two pacey wingers, when Bowen was playing up top, even two pacey wingers in Cudus and Somerville, we just weren't getting the ball out. And you know that was the problem. You know, there was no disconnect between the midfield. That, you know, they couldn't get up with the forwards quick enough, and that's what killed us a lot of times, and that's what's been killing us for seasons and seasons and seasons now. We need people with big energy. That's why, since we've lost Declan Rice, because Declan Rice, for all of his, you know, magnificent player, but he can fucking run, and he could get from front to back quickly, you know, and that's what we need. We need players like that. You know, Alvarez was doing that the season before, but he wasn't doing it last season.
That's the thing. When, you know, Alvarez has got that ability to do that. It's just he didn't get used in the right way, and obviously there was other issues going on around him that we're not aware of. You know, whether he was unhappy and wanted to move or what. But you know, it's the balance. The balance was never right in that side. You know,
too many of the same players doing the same job.
And that's the thing. You just they ended up most of the time getting each other's way, and that's why for that first half of the season, our midfield was like, as you said before, like a bagel or a donut. You know, just people ran through us. If you probably look back at last season, the amount of straight balls through the midfield that we probably conceded from is probably was ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. Somebody said there, Scott. Right, I'm just going to halt this chat quickly. 9 minutes till Oasis come on stage. For the first time. Do you reckon they'll make it to our one?
We'll have to see, mate. We'll have to see. Let's hope so.
I hope for you guys they do. I mean, I was having this conversation with Jace the other day. Blur all day for me. Blur had more of a variety of songs. Oasis, all their songs are the same. You know, I got a guitar and I'm gonna sing for you.
I completely disagree, mate.
All their songs are the same vibe, though.
Blur was magnificent in parts. Early Blur was really good. I think Gorillaz were genius, but for longevity, for classics, Oasis killed it, and they killed it.
Damon Hatfield had more longevity.
How many Blur songs are still being sung today?
Yeah.
All right, but still, I just think they had more. I think Oasis were a bit of one-trick pony. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I do see it. But it's
come on, we're Southerners. Like, it's our manner. Come on, we got to back our boys. Got to back our fucking boys.
I think what. For me, Oasis over Blur, because Oasis sang about things that were important to me. Blur, they're very middle-class boys. Colchester boys.
They're from Essex, aren't they?
Colchester, yeah. Didn't grow up in a particularly, you know, working-class area. Whereas Oasis, I think everything
you've been in some parts of Colchester, mate. It's not.
Yeah, now, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like Oasis resonated more with me because they was very working class. They sang about the things that I knew about, you know. So there we go.
There you go. Stone Roses, Stone Roses are better. Stone Roses, they're brilliant. Just watch Diouf highlights versus England if you want to get excited. I did watch those. I did check those out because there was no way I was sitting through an England friendly or an England qualifier, whatever the hell it was. I only watch them in the big tournaments. I'm a plastic England fan. I only turn up for the big games. Ricky Jordan says, if we sign Diouf, that will be both our wing. Oh, yeah, for Ofcom. Watch out, Ofcom, we're coming for you. Skulls will end up central, which is what tries to be interesting, which is it goes to, I think, was it Red? No, someone else said about KG says this as well. I think we could make Skulls another rise from fullback to midfield. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. And he's young. Try it. See how he does in preseason. Why not? Would you guys be in favour of that?
No,
it could. I mean, you don't know, yeah. Centre back to midfield. We done an event recently with someone that's coached him, Paul Konchesky, and he says he doesn't believe he is a left back, and he would be better in a different position because he just hasn't got the concentration levels. So you don't know. You know, even the pros are saying that
he was a left back.
And he was a left back, yeah. So there we go.
That's a bit worrying, though, mate. If you're sitting there saying that he's saying he hasn't got the concentration levels.
Well, so
that sounds like Ramsdale.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Maybe he worded it different. You'll have to go and check out the video that we've done on. You know,
I think the takeaway is from what he's assessing is it'd be better in another position than
in a different position, yeah.
But unfortunately, whether that's true or not, you know, he's played the youth career as a left winger or a left back, and the position that we're left in from last season, we ain't got time to be messing around at the start of the season trying players in different positions that they're not naturally suited to. You know, I get it. If we're in a side that's performing well, you've got the chance to do that. Potter needs to hit the ground running this season. You know, so you want ready-made players for ready-made positions, not a player. Well, potentially we could turn this player into this player. You know, when you're comfortable in mid-table, you can sort of do that. If you've got ideas of doing that, you should be doing that last season when you're drowning out the season with absolute shit football because you're not going to go down.
That's what pre-season's for, Scott. You can do that in pre-season, can't you?
Pre-season, but as I said, mate, we've got to hit the ground running. Potter hasn't. Yeah, Potter's got 5 to 6 games to get things ticking in the right direction.
Yeah, but I think we've agreed
that place is going to be an absolute toxic nightmare.
Yeah, but Skulls ain't going to be first choice. So whether I'm not saying he goes and throws him straight in midfield, but between pre-season and under 21s, which is still an under 21s player, there's time to give him some experience, try him out, see how he does. Like I'd rather that than just bin him off. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got a young.
Listen,
there's something there. There's a talent there. I think.
Listen, I agree. There is a talent there, and he looks good. What I'm saying is there isn't just. We can't be messing about at the start of this season. It can't be done. This season, we need to have. By the time pre-season's done, everyone's got to be sorted where they're playing. Because as I said, we've got to hit the ground running. We can't afford to go to Sunderland and get beat by Chelsea. Potter can't afford that. He has got the team have got to put performances in from the very first game because otherwise it's going to be absolute dire and Potter won't last till Christmas.
It's turning toxic already. I'll be honest, it's turning toxic already. I mean, there is so much talk about the board again. I think Potter's got a tough job on here. I think Potter's got a tough job.
He has,
but that's why we've got to get our business done early.
Yeah,
that's right. That's why it's so key before the start of the season. Like I said, if Diouf is the man, like get him in early, get him a pre-season, and at least we've got some energy. But that's why I would keep Emerson because it's a bit more of a known quantity. So if Diouf isn't up to it early on, it takes that pressure off him. Like if he's coming in straight away as 20 years old from the Czech league as our first choice left back from day one, that's a bit of pressure on his shoulders. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot of pressure, but it's not like we haven't signed players who have performed in that Czech league before and they've hit the ground running. So
it's true.
But this is a young lad. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, of course it is. But young lads, when you're that sort of age, you either have no fear or you're very nervous, aren't you? And sometimes if he's the type of player that doesn't show nerves or hasn't got no fear, he'll relish the opportunity.
So, well, he had a very good game, apparently. So. That would be one of the most nerve-wracking things. People are asking us about views on the home kit. We will be discussing it. Don't worry. So don't worry. That's all coming up. Let's get through this one first.
Wan-Bissaka, Josiah with an easy question: would you sell Wan-Bissaka?
I like that because Josiah comes out. I love Josiah. Josiah interacts with us on Twitter and all that sort of stuff. But he comes out with the most bizarre questions I've ever heard. I remember once he tweeted out, "Would you loan Bowen to Bournemouth?" No idea why. No idea what the context was. So, absolutely not. Dom would like that one because he highlights some of just crazy questions. But yeah, would you loan Bowen to Bournemouth? And the answer to every question that he asks is no. No, I would not.
Do you know what? Actually, I would sell Wan-Bissaka for the right price. Like, if someone's going to offer us like,
not. Absolutely not.
What, for 100 mil, you wouldn't sell Wan-Bissaka?
100 mil's different gravy if you can
that's
get.
what I'm saying, for the right price. Like, there's a price. Everyone has a price.
Every player has a price.
Exactly.
You want to sell him? No, but every player has a price. Bowen has a price. Let's be honest.
So, what is Wan-Bissaka's price? Like, what is it? 80 mil, I'd say, maybe.
I don't think
I'm not saying worth that.
I don't think we can afford to lose him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, I totally agree. We can't afford to lose a player like that. You know, player of the season.
There's a price, though, Nick, where you're going to say, yes, there is a price that you'll say yes to.
Oh, there's a price that you say yes to, but I would say no to every price until we've actually got someone to replace him. If we could turn around and go, we're going to replace him with this player, then there's a price. But until we find a replacement, you know, Aaron Wan-Bissaka at the moment, he's priceless.
Someone chucks 150 mil, Nick. You can find a replacement.
Of course, but you've got to be realistic.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there is obviously you get to the point where you're like,
there's a price for everybody. You know, there's a price that you know Barcelona would have sold Prime Messi to, but you're never going to meet the price in terms of how important they are to you. Never going to meet it.
If Dan Burn can do it, anyone can. Get that on a t-shirt. Get KWP, Carl Walker-Peters on a free, and he can play both. No, Gaza, come on, man. Is anyone taking Carl Walker-Peters? Big wages. He's past it, mate. Not for me. Nick, you look like you're on the fence. You're umming and ahhing.
I don't really know. I'll be honest with you, mate. It all depends. If it's last ditch signing and we ain't signed anyone, from take it. But
I'm thinking of Carl Walker. I was like, what?
Walker Peters. He's the one that we've been linked with. The
one at Southampton. We've been linked with him for a long time.
Yeah, I know who he is, but for some reason,
not great. Don't get me wrong. He's no world beater, but he's on a free transfer, and
yeah, that's not a bad shout actually on a free transfer. I know Scott, you decided last year, you was like, no, I do not rate this guy at all. Mm-hmm. But as a cover, surely he's good enough to be cover.
Well, if we ain't got no one else, mate, then yeah. You know, this is the thing. He's on a free transfer. That's the only plus side of it.
Kyle Walker signed for Burnley.
He's 27 and he's a wing back. So
did he? Are you sure?
Oh, Kyle Walker.
Well,
Kyle Walker's signing for Burnley.
What?
Yeah, Kyle Walker is signing for Burnley.
Oh my God! He must have taken a wage cut, surely.
Well, he was at AC Milan, wasn't he? So he might have been released. So I don't know.
He's got to take. There's no way they're paying him like big wages.
He's signed for $5 million.
Not a bad bit of business for Burnley there.
It's decent, yeah. It's decent for Burnley. Yeah, he's not going to be. I mean, that's a trip back home for him, isn't it? Back up to Yorkshire and all of that. Yeah. And
I agree with Damien there. I would have kept Vlad and Fab. Yeah, like we're talking about cover for right back. Yeah, might as well have extended.
That's when you think about it, and I say this, but I think it was Fab's Vlad's decision in the end because
I don't know.
He wanted to play.
Yeah,
he didn't seem like it. You look at the way he left and the goodbye message. That didn't look like someone he wanted to leave to me.
No. That's what I'm saying. He didn't want to leave, mate, but he wants to play.
He wants to play, yeah.
There's a big
you can't be guaranteed a starting position anywhere, though.
No, absolutely not.
You can go somewhere and be more guaranteed than what you are now. He
was let down a bit in the start in January because there was a move on to Fulham and they called it because they said like we need you. And he hadn't played.
But even Fulham, there's no guarantee of a start at Fulham. I mean, they've done much better than
but there's probably a bit more of a chance of him getting football there than he was having a chance at West Ham. And let's be honest, the ball treated him like shit. let's be honest. The guy was one of our best players for a while, and he was still on crap wages compared to some of the other layabouts that they were earning. Do you know what I mean?
20 grand, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, listen, I'll take the wages that he was on all day long, but as a Premier League footballer that put in the efforts that he put in, when you see what some of our players were earning compared to him, it's a joke.
Yeah, you got players like disrespect him, Antonio, and on 100k a week, and he's not as consistent as him. You got people like Danny Ings who didn't play, he's on 125 grand a week. He wasn't as consistent as him. You got Yarmolenko warmed up every week, wasn't as consistent as him on 150k a week. The fact that you're then bringing in players like Rodriguez on the money that he was on. Yeah. But
Red 5 here says, and this goes into a question he had, and he says, if we have two pacey wing backs that could really transform us, however, centre of the midfield looks like he wants JWB and Souček, which is, if he does, I really hope that's not the case. And he says, question, boys, a midfielder or a wing back, the biggest priority? I have to say, I was asked, midfielder, 100%. I've been saying it.
Because we've got a hammer of the year right back who was fantastic last year. Emerson is more than a good enough left wing back for me. And our midfield is substandard. So I would have said midfield, but it doesn't work like that. You have to do the deal as they become available. So
no, it just means what's more of a not what in terms
midfielder.
Of
Midfielder.
Yeah,
100%.
What about you, Scott? Mr. Midfield isn't a priority, eh?
Signing that over a fullback is more of a priority. You've got players there who, you've got options to play a 4 at the back, and you've got options to play a 3 at the back. With 2 wing backs. So for both systems to work, we do need a bit more pace in the midfield. So it is a midfielder over that position.
And then we've got a super chat here, Billy the Trap, £2 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. I'd play him pre-season. He looks good going forward. So, who was he talking about?
Ollie Skulls, I'm presuming.
Ollie Skulls, yeah. There's something there. Maybe if we're playing this wing-back system, and like I said, he's better going forward. He seemed to do well when he had Creswell there. That's the thing. Like, when he had Creswell there at left centre-back. Like, I'm not just going to write him off, but we'll see. He's going to have a look at all the youngsters.
The thing is, as well, when you look at Skulls that season when he first played for us, when he first got his chance in that European game, and you watch him back then at the under 21s when he was playing on the left, and we had Mbama up front. He getting down the wing and crossing the ball straight away. Something that West Ham don't do. And he's got a great left foot on him and puts in a great cross. And we've got to start using the best of our players' abilities. Stop this getting down the wing and then coming back and going sideways again. The predictable play that we've seen. Let's be a little bit more direct.
Yeah, 100%. That's. I think that was our problem. We was the opposite of direct. We went round the fucking houses all constantly, wasn't it?
But it becomes predictable, mate. We get the ball in a certain position. And then instead of throwing the ball into the box, the striker makes the move. We throw the ball into the box. We don't. We go back, forward, and then it finally gets put in, or it gets put all the way out to the opposite wing. Very predictable, slow build-up play we had last season, and that is the one big thing that we need to change going forward this season.
Yeah, we have to transform that 100%. Mr. C, I think spot on here. If you can't afford to buy big name players, you have to rely on the managers and scouts to find the best unknown players they can afford, 100%.
I'll be honest, mate, as well, as much as I hate that players do this, look at players who are going to want to use this as a stepping stone. Get 3 seasons out of them, and they're looking to move to bigger and better things. They'll be more hungry to play. And that's what we need. Players that are hungry, players that want to play. Whether it's for that reason or whether it's for playing for the club.
This is the thing, I think, why people bring up about Maguire and McTominay, and they'll go on about how we've missed out on them, and look what they could have been like in the team, and people didn't want them. It's like, that's fine, but they didn't want to come to West Ham. we tried to sign them. They didn't want to come. They thought it was too much of a step down. They thought it was they're above us, right? And we don't want players like that. As good as McTominay's doing in Italy, as good as Maguire's looked under Amorim this season, like I said, if they think they're too good to play for West Ham, we don't want them.
No, mate, I totally agree with you. That is right. You don't want players that don't want to play for you, and you know that is the thing. McTominay would have been a perfect fit for us. You know, that the amount of people that slated that signing when it was touted that we potentially had the chance to get him, he's a good player. You know, he popped up so many times for Manchester United before he moved on, scoring crucial goals, and he's done exactly the same at Napoli. You know, and they've reaped the rewards, and it's a player that we've missed out on. Whether he wanted to come on, that's a different story.
He didn't miss it. He didn't want to come.
Yeah,
like I said, he's had a chance to go to Napoli. He's gone and won the league there. Fair play to him. It's you know, it's a hard sell at times. You know, we're asking him to come to the other end of the country to a club that, you know, isn't as big as Manchester United, and potentially for some of them take a wage cut, like which Maguire would never have wanted to do. And I don't know what McTominay was on. So
I can't see Napoli playing McTominay big money. Can you?
No. But I mean, I don't know what the deal is and what they're playing in. But Maguire, I know, definitely didn't want to take a pay cut.
No.
But yeah, it was they didn't want to cut. They didn't want to come. But like you said, if we get these young players, these players from these different leagues, we do our scouting right, they're going to come Premier League, the big lights, hungry, wanting to play, and not with this preconceived notion of, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. I'm the bollocks. Like, I'm better than this club. And hopefully we can change our fortunes. We've had too many of these big time Charlies last season, and we see how that turned out. Harry Scoots says, would love you guys to get Mr. Danny Dyer on for a chat. I'm sure Bowen told him a thing or two about what's going on inside the club. I bet he's in a difficult position, Danny Dyer. I don't think he can say too much now.
I'll tell you this now. We've tried to get Danny Dyer on many times. Danny Dyer ain't having it. And that's that.
Well, that's it. But he loves all the Sky Sports and all them.
And that was before we had a player as a son-in-law, you know. So,
well, yeah, wasn't he going to come on and then he started EastEnders, or was that way before we started?
Yeah, no, he was going to come on and he couldn't because of EastEnders, and then he's
left EastEnders and he's like, no.
No, well, he just can't do it. His son plays, his son-in-law plays for him. He's never going to be able to do things like this ever again.
I know. But yeah, so right. So let's. Do you know what? We'll leave let's really get no, everyone's asking about the kit. Let's get onto the kit, actually. Right. Okay. Let me get a picture of this kit. The new West Ham 2025-2026 home kit, right? This is, I wouldn't say a split opinion, but I don't think it's 50-50. I think it's very much the popular opinion that this is a pile of shit, this kit. It's not gone down particularly well with fans. I've seen like a little handful of people saying, oh, that's nice, I like that. Like, you know, you stick just a claret anything and they're like, oh yeah, claret. Yeah, so it's, let me get this up on a share screen and we will talk about this. But me and Nicky, we done a video where we talked about potential kit. Some people slated us for like, oh, you know, I guess slow, nothing else to talk about. But I don't know, there was a kit going around. We thought, oh, you know, I don't know what's worse, what we was talking about, Nick, or this.
Yeah. Well, that one was worse. I'm going to tell you that.
That one. Yeah, it was. It was bad. Right. So, I'm on share screen in here. Well, that's just got even worse, isn't it? But you can all see that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We can see it.
Bowl Sports, right?
Yep.
So, what are we thinking of this, everyone?
I'll go first.
Go on, mate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as bad as everyone says, but that sponsor is absolutely awful. And just put blue sleeves on it, man.
Yep.
Like, just put blue sleeves on it. There's no need for that little tiny little triangle underneath the armpits. Put a pair of blue sleeves on it. Yeah, it would look very similar to last season's one, but it's simple. Listen, I think there's only one kit in existence that I've ever liked that didn't have blue sleeves, and that was the 86 one. And I didn't mind the remake of that one over by Adidas. But apart from that, I just think they look like, that looks like a training kit to me. That looks like a top that they chuck on after training. You know, when they've got that, you know, that sort of like that bit where, you know, between going to training and getting to their car, it looks like one of them. I like the collar. I like the sleeves. I'm a big fan of like the claret and blue sort of pinstripes. But yeah, look at it. It's just too plain. And we were talking about this. I was talking about this with Lawless earlier about Umbro. You know, when you look through the, you know, the list of kits, they've had some fucking bangers, but they've also had some fucking shockers. And this is their legacy. And this is a fucking shocker in terms of like too plain. I don't know whether it's in the shop. I ain't been to the shop. If it comes in the shop, I'll go and have a look. But, you know, sometimes they grow on me, but I can't. You know, it's the lack of sleeves, blue sleeves. It's just, yeah. Someone just said there, no effort. That's no effort at all.
Yeah, very lazy. John, before I go on, Scott, give us your thoughts, mate.
No, it is. It's just very, very plain and simple in it. It's an easy out. They haven't really put any effort into designing anything. That the problem is though,
sorry, Scott, you will get other teams at Umbro that will have exactly the same template as that.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I mean, if there's a Bournemouth kit, there will be a Bournemouth kit that's very similar to this. You know, and I think if they're going to leave a legacy, I think they need to leave a legacy.
But the thing is, mate, is that when you look at it, right, every single kit we've had for the past couple of seasons has been completely ruined, whether you like it or not, by the stupid sleeve sponsors. We had a white kit with a massive black JD Sports spot on it, and we've got this thing with that disgusting green QuickBooks logo on it. You know, if you're going to sell a shirt, take both sponsors off. You know, because both sponsors, that Ball Sports is terrible. It looks like, you know, my kids designed it and just shoved Ball Sports on the front. And as I said, the blue badge on the side. And what annoys me, you buy it unsponsored, you still get that stupid thing on the side.
Yeah, you still get a sponsor on it on the sleeve. It just ruins the kit. What's the point of that? 75 quid. You stick a big green fucking.
Do you know what the issue here is? I'm gonna tell you what the issue here is, right? I'm gonna tell you what the issue here is right now. Is that West Ham will put unarmed fucking anything on that sleeve. It don't matter what it was. If it wrapped around the whole fucking sleeve, they won't give a shit because it's money. It's money for them.
That's the thing, though, right? I get like it's money the sponsors, right? But have a badge that blends into the kit.
Yeah.
Do you know
what I mean? JD sort of blended into the kit.
You know what? The thing is with QuickBooks, Scott, right? They had, I think Villa years ago had a QuickBooks sponsor, and guess what they did? They changed the color. They just had it in white, like so. It was just QuickBooks, but in white, so it didn't clash with the kit. Why can't they do that?
And this is it, Martin, exactly. Blend the sponsors into the kit. You know, having a big, massive green patch on a claret shirt or a white shirt, whatever colour the away kit's going to be, the third kit's going to be, it looks ridiculous.
Because QuickBooks would have a problem. Because if it blends into the kit, it's not standing out of the kit. Green,
listen,
anything.
I've seen a lot of sleeve sponsors. Don't ask me to name any, but you see the sleeve sponsor, you know it's a sleeve sponsor, but it doesn't overly stand out from the kit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They make it go with the kit, so it still stands out, but it goes with the kit. Green doesn't go with claret.
Sometimes when I'm looking at kits like ours, I just think everything it just looks too cheap.
Let's be honest.
That looks cheap.
Overall, you look at kits now, right, and it's the biggest rip-off, barring ticket prices in football.
Yeah, we've done
you
this.
don't need a new kit every single season.
You're talking about, you know, I know that there's ethical problems with it, but you know, the counterfeit kit market is massive at the minute. Yeah, and I'm looking at sites, Yeah, and I done say it a couple of years ago, but I never took it out because it became too difficult and it became too sort of legally entwining into. And there is obviously there's a lot of negative things that come out the counterfeit kit market. You know, child labour laws and possible links to organised crime and stuff like that.
That's also in the legitimate market, mate. Don't believe all that.
I know.
What you've got to remember, Nick, is
that's why it got too legal. I ain't got the money to take on Nike. I ain't got the money to take on Umbro or fucking Adidas or anything like that. So
some of these counterfeit places are just basically making the shirts getting the shirts from exactly the same place Umbro
with exactly the same materials, with exactly the same this and that. I understand. And if they can afford to knock them out at 15 quid, or 12 quid or 10 quid for the brand new shirt with Premier League printing, with shirt. And I know Premier League clubs need to make money. And like I've had a look at videos where it says actually how much it would cost a club officially to pay the right, but we got to understand the counterfeit markets do not have to pay Umbro anything. They don't have to pay Betway anything. They don't have to pay QuickBooks anything, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. But, I think it's about 28 quid to get an official shirt out on the shelves for each football club. And they're charging 75. There's no need. There's no need. And it just goes to show for me that, the too many people are making too much fucking money off of working class people and they take your loyalty for fucking granted. And it's going to take one of these big. Sorry, Scott. It's going to take one of these big corporations to break against the grain, to go against the grain. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But that's what annoys me, mate. As I said, I can pick up this phone now, right, and I can order that kit for 12 quid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay 12 quid for it, Scott. I wouldn't pay 12 quid for this because.
Scott, I wouldn't take that if it's the price of a fucking bit of toilet paper.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest.
Right, now, listen. We're going to come back later on in the season, right? When you two both have one of them shirts.
I ain't going to have one of them. One.
The thing is, I've got club cash to spend, and I won't be spending it on that. That's for damn sure. I'd rather buy one of them shitty PS3 skins than that. You know what I mean? And I ain't got PS3 anymore. But yeah, to me, it screams championship. That is a relegation kit if ever I've seen one. The sponsor, it's very, like I said, it's just so plain and uninspired. You all said it. It just looks. When I saw the video of Bowen with it on and the players, it looks so cheap and tacky, and it has relegation written all over it. It looks like a championship kit, and the fact that they, like you said, Scotty, 75 quid, and you can't not have that big green fucking dot on the sleeve. Pointless. Like I said, I wouldn't even go DHK.
Nick, you said you was going to phone the ticket office and ask a few questions. Yeah, I was, mate, until I got stuck in traffic. But also, I didn't get the email. If anyone's got that email where they're offering season tickets out, I haven't got it to look at. So I can't phone them and ask them about an email. I ain't got a question because I don't know if the email exists or not. Have you got it? Send it to us.
It does exist.
Well, can you send it to me then? And then I will.
I've got, or do I get a text message? No, do you know what? I deleted it. I got the text message from West Ham saying I can buy another ticket.
Really?
Can you get back? I don't know how you get back your deleted messages. But yeah, I had it come through yesterday.
Yeah.
Go
on. So yeah, Joe, I just want to have a look at, right, and we'll talk about this because this is the thing, like with this kit. It was the last kit for Umbro. You know what I mean? Before we change the New Balance next season, this is what they'll be remembered for. Now they've got a chance to put out a shit hot away kit, a shit hot third kit, but for the home kit, it's a sad end to their time, and they've spent a lot of time with West Ham.
You know what? Right, I haven't seen it. Let's get some of the old ones up. Let's some.
That's where I want to go in, mate.
Sorry, mate. I want to look at the legacy of Umbro because I remember some fucking bangers from them. I think the bowling kit. All of them, all three of them was bangers. Well, that was all mustard kits. The farewell bowling kit, which I believe was their first one.
Let's take a look at it.
Okay. But let's see, in terms of bangers, how many bangers have they had compared to shite?
So that's last season's. That was a banger. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
This was. Which one was this? What year was it?
Nick.
This was last year. That was last year's as well.
Nick,
Nick,
check the group chat. I'll put it in there. The email.
I'll have a look at it.
Screenshot. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that was last year's away. Yeah, it was pretty good. This, I think of Felipe Anderson when I see this one. Not a fan. I wasn't a big fan of this.
I quite like that one. I thought it was a little bit different with the yellow socks and that. I quite like that one.
You see how the blue sleeves make it stand out a bit more, doesn't it?
Cuts it.
Yeah.
That one was good. I can't remember what year. Oh, that was the 125-year one, wasn't it?
I thought that was a good kit. This one next to it, I didn't really get. There's meant to be some significance behind the colours on the thing, but I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's great.
But you see what we're saying with the sleeve sponsor on that one. You see how the white sleeve sponsor doesn't. It stands out.
It doesn't overpower it.
With the kit.
Yeah. The Bubbles one was a bit shit.
Yeah, I don't think that was great. This one at the end here, I thought was awful.
Really? I liked it. I've got that one.
No,
this
I don't
one
like that at all.
Why not?
The end one. The end one there with the sort of like the blue trims on the sleeves rather than the blue sleeves. I thought that was terrible.
Yeah, I actually liked this one. Where's it? Let's see if we can get. This one was a thing of beauty.
What one? What one are we looking at? Yeah,
this one
like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I've liked the last three white ones, to be honest. I thought they've all been decent.
Yeah, this one was all right. Something about the gold, I don't know. Something about that. I was 50-50 on this one.
I didn't like it at first, but I grew into it. I bought that one in the end.
You ended up buying it, yeah? This was a monster. I hated this third kit a couple seasons ago, I think it was.
See, I didn't like that one either.
Stadium branding.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either, but my boy loves that kit. And a lot of kids loved that kit. Don't know why. I can't really work it out.
Where's this? This was the one that Scott had the Moody version with the fake hologram. Was it this one?
That's the one, mate. That's the one.
With the hologram.
Mate, that was the only thing that let that down was the badge.
Yeah, that's rice with that kit. Yeah, I liked that kit. This one was shit, I thought.
What one?
This one here. I didn't like this.
Yeah, it wasn't great. That wasn't great.
Second season at London Stadium. Carrier bag one.
I didn't like that one either. The one with the stripes across the when the whole top of it was blue.
Carrier bag. That one looked like. This one I like.
Paul McCarthy says grown man buying football shirts.
Grown men buying anything that's not
grown men buying anything.
Yeah,
I've seen people running around fucking mopeds in their 60s. What do you want me to do? you got to have something.
This white one I didn't like with the Union Jack.
No, that wasn't great. That wasn't great. I didn't like.
Yeah, to be fair, early London Stadium ones were pretty painful.
Yeah, they were shit. I didn't like this one either.
Bit like the
I got this on the wall.
Yeah,
that
terrible.
That was shocking. We won the cup in that one, but that is shocking, and that's the only reason I own that shirt.
We won the cup in that.
That is shocking.
We'll get to your flip chat in a sec, Rich. I'll just get through some of these, more of these. Yeah, this was poor. I remember. This one. Yeah, it wasn't so much of a. It was
okay. That was okay.
We had where's the purple bloody Haller kit?
Purple.
Do you remember the one? This one. Was it this one? No, I don't think this was one.
I know the one. I know the one you mean. Yeah, that was shit.
Wasn't a fan of this one. Yeah, it's been very hit and miss. Like some of the good ones. This was okay. This was okay. This one. I weren't crazy about it.
I quite like that.
You'd have to leave as we're going through football kits. You're leaving this grown men buying football shirts. Bloody comment on. Bit of an own goal. Oh, do you remember this one? Spobet. That was a classic Umbro.
What did you think of this one? That's a shit. That's when we had Umbro before.
Yeah. This was kind of.
This was controversial.
I like that one.
I've got that one.
We couldn't wear it though, could we?
Yeah, we couldn't wear it. It was mine's destroyed now. The sponsor all peeled off.
Yeah. there was. I'm trying to find that's a fake one. The last season at Up to Part 1. I'm hoping that comes up. That was sort of based on that one, wasn't it?
This one was this. Go down a bit, Dan. Sorry, there's a black one there with a gold trim. That I think that would go down as one of the best of all time. Go down.
Yeah,
I've
got that one.
I ain't got it.
Down a bit more.
Get it. That went down. There's a big story about that. Here's the last season at Bowling.
What are you looking at, Nick?
I was looking at the black one with a gold badge. It was down.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. Oh yeah, this was beautiful. This was there's Obiang modelling it.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That was a beautiful.
Decent. That was decent.
There was a black one with a gold badge in it. It was all blacked out. It was like the Lingard season. Lingard played for us in that season.
I've got that.
But again, right? You look at that there. That's quite plain. But because of the blue, it looks nicer, and that's all it is. Just very plain, very simple. Gold, Umbro, gold
badge. The gold looked nice.
Yeah,
but the badge, I think the badge made a big difference on that. Can you imagine that with a modern badge?
Yeah,
No, I couldn't. It would still look better than a lot of kits, but it wouldn't look as good.
Yeah, exactly.
I hated this.
The blue one, that was.
I didn't mind that.
I hated it.
I didn't mind that.
We also had an off-white one as well. That was fucking shocking.
Off-white.
Yeah, it was like off-white. And then there's year, I think it was.
Yeah. We've had it's been like I think it's been very mixed. We've had some great kits and some.
I think this one. See this classic Umbro one here. So the one next to you've gone past it. It's the one next to the 3 players. So it's the one before the Umbro one, yeah. So this one here. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. I mean, that was it. Yeah, I think that is one of the worst of all time.
Yeah, not a fan of that XL.
Offset Umbro up the top right hand shoulder. Then you've got all the diamonds just etched into it. That's very mid 2000s. That is.
Yeah. Not a fan. I lost the fucking picture I wanted.
Do you like the kits?
Some of these are training kits.
Let me just ask you a question. Do you like the kits, right, where the badge is in the middle?
No, badge has got to be there for me. I hate them when they do that, Scott.
Yeah, some of them look nice. Again, it's on the design of the kit, but I prefer the badge where it actually is.
Yeah.
So these were the last, these have been all the kits since 2015, all the home shirts. So that one, loved. First season at Standard Stadium, no, yes, yeah. What did you think of this one with the blue on top? I've got
shite.
See, I didn't mind that. And this is the crazy thing about it. You know, when you look at a lot of ours, look at them shirts there. There's not a lot of difference in them. And this is the thing. The only bad side, really, of this new one, the sponsors, and 2, there's not enough blue in it. Put a bit more blue in that shirt that's come out now, it will look a lot better. Guarantee it. You won't be getting as many people saying it's crap. But
I've got a feeling.
As you said, though, Nick, the badge makes a big difference.
Yeah, badge makes a big difference. I've got a feeling they're going to have a lot of these fucking left over at the end of the season, unless me and Dan were saying, unless we win a cup in it, or we. The
fact that they took all their other ones.
If we win a cup in it, or we have a fucking absolutely outstanding season, or some massive player comes to us and people want to get his name on the back, I think they're going to have a lot of them left at the end of the season. And I don't know whether they're going to be able to stock them next season because we're changing kit suppliers. And I'm sure New Balance are not going to want Umbro shirts in their shop.
No. I love this one, by the way. I've got
Get prepared to see them for about £5 somewhere.
This was beautiful. This one.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
In my opinion. That was my favourite one.
And again, case in point with a sleeve sponsor, blends into the shirt.
Blends in, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So as a grown man, look, I've got some of these, a grown man with football shirts here. So yeah, that was last season's.
Okay.
I think the badge makes that. If they'd have had that normal multicolored badge, I don't think that would be as good. Look at that badge.
Yeah, the badge works.
The badge works. Take that shit sleeve sponsor off, Even better.
It's without that, it's the perfect West End. That is classic. That's like Bobby Moore-esque era.
Well, I'm glad I'm never going to go for a job at QuickBooks or use QuickBooks, isn't it? God.
I liked this. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't great, this scope thing, but I like
it. Sort of blends into the shirt.
I've got one of them on my wall. I never had that, but I've got one on the frame in the wall.
What you was talking about, right, Nick? The black and gold, yeah?
Yes, that's the one, yeah. I think
like the neck, the square neck. That's the only thing
they went down very early in the season on M&M's for 25 quid.
I got this on M&M, I think.
Yeah, for 25 quid, very early in the season, and they
look good
immediately.
Yep.
Yeah, I snapped that up. This is the one Nicky said he hated.
Yeah, I hated that kit. I thought that was.
I didn't mind that kit.
Someone got it for me for a present. I think my brother got it for me.
I'd have chucked it right back in their face.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's not the best. I don't think it's one of the worst ones we've got. And this is another one. I don't know why you hate this one, Nick. I got this for my third. This one. I don't know what you.
Too plain, too shit. The badge would have changed
the thing is, why it wasn't, because it has that.
And for a lot of the years, you couldn't even buy it without the fucking Betway on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was only a recent thing.
Yeah. The thing is, they say it's got that stitching, the lining on the. You can't even really see it.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Somebody said they all look the same. Yeah, you're right, mate. They all do.
Lions on the back. Yeah. So
Danny.
So here we go. Got a load of these shirts. So
fucking
Umbro, like, would you say like good legacy, bad legacy?
Decent. It's been all right. Yeah. I don't think it's been a disaster, but
no, they let's be honest, they could have done a bit better with this season's one, especially as said if they're going out the door, and the fact it's the 130th anniversary. So you think they could have done a bit better.
Yeah.
I think they'll pull it back if they bring out that E-Crew kit, though, mate, because I'm looking forward to looking for that.
E-Crew?
Yeah, it's cream. Anyone?
Cream. I thought it was an E-Crew kit. I went one.
E-Crew, yeah, that's a colour. E-Crew.
Is it?
Yep.
All right. Learn something new every day. But no, I was saying to Nick on the phone, right, and I'll be interested to see what everyone else thinks about this with the cream kit. I remember at the time it not being very popular. A lot of people hated that kit, but it seems nostalgia has changed a lot of people's minds about that cream kit, and it's become quite a popular kit now through nostalgia, because it's not one we've had that once really, and then that was it.
Is that the Darnie kit?
No, I don't think Darnie. Maybe Porfirio was in that kit.
What year was it? Was it 96?
96, yeah, it's 96. So it's nearly 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
But I had that kit. I wore it to death. I wore it till it fell off me. I did, honestly. I loved it. I loved the whole thing. When I was a kid, I wore that kit to death because it was different. It was different. Everything I'd had before that was very plain. I'd only mostly had home kits from then, because you used to get them for your birthdays or Christmas, and we weren't very rich and we didn't have very much money. So every birthday or Christmas, I'd get the home kit because that was the one, and it come out every couple of years, whereas the away kit changed every year. And I remember my dad bought me that, the whole thing. Couldn't get the shorts, the proper shorts. So I got the top, the socks, but just a pair of pony shorts without the badge on it. Couldn't find the shorts. They didn't make a lot of them. I don't know whether that's just because they didn't make a lot of the kits because they didn't think it was going to sell very well. But just had a pair of like claret pony shorts. I remember that. But in terms of a shirt, I wore that one to death because it was just different. The badge was in the middle, which you didn't see a lot then. It was cream. It was, I think, if I remember correctly, it was something that we bought out like halfway through a season, and it came out with like a weird fucking goalkeeper's kit and all that. Like, if I remember rightly, and we didn't wear it very much, but yeah, I love that kit. So something similar to that, I'd wear. But yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it ain't that fucking nice, to be quite honest with you, the old one.
Yeah, see, it's nostalgia. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now, and it ain't that fucking nice at all, to be honest.
You was all fucking doing it up. You was all like,
but I can only say what I said at the time is that I fucking loved it. I loved it as a kid. That it was different to me. But
that was one of that's why I didn't. It was one of the year when we had the badge in the middle, and like I was saying earlier, I'm not a fan of badge in the middle.
Yeah. And the badge was very different to what we had at the time as well. It was like, it was one that I think we only used it on that one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that badge.
Look, I'll just upload it. Hold on 1 second. And so media assets, logo overlay. So yeah, so we had this. I'm sure it's just a single use, but I've never seen it before, and I've never seen it since. But it was this one. Sorry, everyone. You carry on talking.
Suspense.
There we go. That's the one, right? I loved it, but now it don't look that great. But I remember I got a fucking wallop because I cut the collar there. No, like that thing down the middle there. Yeah, cut the V because Julian Dix used to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't great. Yeah, I didn't have them shorts. I didn't have the right shorts, but that badge, I'm sure we only used that badge the once. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, that's that I'm not. I wasn't.
And I'll tell you what else I bought with that. Right, I'm going to show you it. It was the goalkeeper kit to that, which was very iconic, very controversial at the time as well. And I had this shirt as well because I did used to go and goal. I can't even find a picture of it. Go on, carry on chatting between yourself.
Let me get some comments. Talking about the kit. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me read this out from Rich. Hope you had a great chat. Gutted I'm not following properly. My son collared me after a few beers. Take care, everyone, and best wishes to Mum. Thank you very much, Rich. We appreciate you, mate.
Appreciate that.
John Inglis says, like everything they do, cheap and nasty. Talking about the new home kit.
That one.
Oh yeah. Do you know what though? I like it because it is like now again. It's the quintessential '90s goalkeeper shirt.
I had that. Yeah, I bought that. I had that and the.
That'd probably be worth a bit of money now, I reckon.
Yeah. Again, I think I fucking left it in my PE bag somewhere and left the bag somewhere.
You leaving something somewhere? No, never.
Yeah. You got to be no chance. Trudge says, worst sleeve sponsor in the league. I think you're spot on there. I can't think of anyone who's got a worse one than us. Like, I'm trying to think if there's a team with a kit where that would actually look decent on, where green would go with it, like, and it would look nice. Plymouth. Yeah. Black. If you a book of black, black and green goes all right. Arsenal, it'll look like they'll have the white sleeve with the green. It won't look I don't know, like Christmas with the red. Yeah, it's just bad.
See these two fuckers, man. They hammer me in the comments.
Who?
Look, Nicky had a PE bag full of cans of Coke and cigs. You see my car?
They accurately analyze you, Nick. That's what they do.
I didn't smoke in school, man. Didn't smoke in school. Never even touched a cigarette.
And then now you see
your bag now.
You see my car?
Yeah. Who's going to pay 75 quid for that? People with more money than sense.
Some cunt will.
Yeah, people with more money than sense, that's for sure. Read that one. Let's hope New Balance kicks the shit out of Umbro next season. Yeah, I really hope so. They've got to start strong. Whatever happens, they have to start strong. New Balance. Josiah says it's disgraceful, talking about the kit. Nick, you read that. Rick says, what's your favourite West Ham badge? I did like the one we had for the 125-year kit. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
No, the last season at Bowling's was the best one.
Yeah, last season.
That was decent. That was
I don't like
decent.
the new one at all. Last season's one was a good interpretation on it. I would prefer that because it doesn't highlight the thing. But you look at the colours in this one, it's fucking shocking, if I'm honest.
This is,
But
I think, the best we've had in the London Stadium. I think this is the best.
Yeah,
still has,
and that's very similar to what they had last year, you know?
yeah,
But just
best
the hammers are
London Stadium.
highlighted out. Everything else is sort of blended into one.
But yeah, I've got a lot of obviously
The hologram badge down the one on that white kit. That was decent. Yeah, how they done that. That was good.
I think you got to go for the castle though, ain't you? You got to say like,
Yeah, the last one at the bowling is the best one. I think.
Yeah,
I think though a lot of it is from when you
grew up,
what you drew, what you see then. You know, for us, being the ages that we are, that castle with the hammers is what we. That's what we were brought up on. That's our badge. You know, you go back another 30, 40 years, other people, that castle may not have been there on their badges. So, you know, it's different in
periods.
Timeline, isn't it? Yeah, periods. You know, you think the original badge was just crossed hammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
So didn't have London underneath any of them. That's the fucking problem.
That's a branding thing. We all know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was grown men talking about football kits. Now grown men talking about
cinema snacks. So get in your seat.
Yeah. What else are grown men not
everything
allowed
from popcorn to M&Ms and
yes, we'll have to see. We'll go for everything, all the list of things grown men aren't allowed to enjoy, and we'll talk about that. But no, Cudus. I think grown men. Is that okay? Talk about football transfer.
I'm going to get a drink because we've been going on longer than I thought we was going to be, and I'm very thirsty and I'm very hot.
Yeah,
so give me a second. Use crack on, and I can hear you, but I'm just not going to hear you.
My mum used to drive me mad, when I was a kid, and I'd go, "Mum, I'm thirsty," and she'd go, "Oh, I'm Friday. How'd you do?" I'd be like, "What? What am I supposed to say to that?"
Mate, that's a classic parenting one. That's a classic parenting one.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. On Friday. What? It's not solving my thirst, mother. It's your job to solve my thirst. But yeah, that's well, yeah. One of them mother or they'd like my nan would go, "Bingo, where you going?" There and back to see how far it is. And I would make a point. I'd sit there when they come back. I go, "All right, how far was it then? How far was it?" And they go, "What?" And you said you're going there and back. See how far it is. How far is it? Didn't have an answer. That showed them. They didn't think I'd remember. Yeah,
that is a random one though. I ain't heard that one before.
Yeah, Granddad used to go see a man about a dog. You see, go and see a man about a dog.
Yeah, done that a few times.
Nan used to go see a sailor or whatever it was. See a sailor or something. Yeah, I don't know. So there's some sort of saying, "Go see a sailor" or something, or whatever. You know, them old fucking sayings and shit like that. Or how long's a piece of string?
Yeah.
You know, and I would say, well, you know, bit of string. This is about 2 inches. Or whatever. I have to have an answer. I don't like these sayings. I would always have to fight back because I used to use them all the time. It's like, come on. But yeah, that's the old. Thankfully, now I'm an adult. I haven't had to hear them in years. But it used to drive me mental.
Mate, you do know, like, you're going to start using them in a few years. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Have you used any of them yet, Scott, and your kids?
Yeah, I've used that one. I've used the when they say they're thirsty and I say I'm Friday. Yeah, you do. You know, I've used that one.
Yeah.
Go and see man about a dog. I've used that one.
The I'm Friday one used to make me so angry. I don't think I could, in good conscience, use it because I know.
That's why you use it because your kids just hate it, mate. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's the worst. That was the worst one for me. In fact, do you know what? You've just reminded me. Now I'm going to make a point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start using these back on my mum. If ever I hear her say she's thirsty, I'm gonna just think about wanting to wait for it. Please say you're thirsty, and I'll say I'm Friday. So now Nikki's back. Let's get on this.
That's the road.
I found a little cheeky drink. You know, look at this little cheeky drink that I found in the fridge.
Jack Daniels Coca-Cola.
Cheeky. Fucking hate Jack Daniels, but I'm going to drink it anyway because I'm thirsty.
I love Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah, with my granddad going to see a man about a dog was code for down the pub. Yeah, same with my granddad. He was down the pub, down the Earl of Essex in Manor Park. Yeah, right. So now we've talked about mum sayings. Let's get on to transfer update on Cudus. Apparently, according to Ben Jacobs, West Ham are demanding a different pricing for to Spurs in a deal for Cudus, a Tottenham tax, if you will. And Spurs are growing concerned that Chelsea will soon make space in their squad to launch a second offer for him, according to Dean Jones Soccer, whoever that is. I've been saying there should be a Tottenham tax. I don't want to sell to Spurs. It would leave a sour taste in my mouth. Spurs apparently have offered a deal of 50 million plus 5 million add-ons paid over 5 years, which is not good enough for me. They should pay more. Like, if you want to do a deal with us and get our players, then it's going to hurt. That's how I see it.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest, and people are not going to want to hear this. He ain't going for 85 million pounds, and I think he will go to Tottenham. I think 60 million to get him. I think we'll deal at 60 million. I think that's what we're holding out for. I also think the club have made a massive mistake. I think that Daniel Levy's been very clever the way he's done it, because they went to have a look at that Semenyo at Bournemouth, and they wanted 70, and they won't budge from 70, and then they've also been put off by someone else. I think it was Eze, and I think they've used that to their advantage. That means, to me, they ain't going to be dealing at 70 million, so they won't go above 70 million because they wouldn't pay it for the Bournemouth player. And I also think they know we're fucking desperate. To be honest with you, at this point in the season, how he's talking to them without our permission is very dodgy. You know what I mean? Like, and
does he not have our permission? Is that
so? He must have our permission. This is what I'm saying. He must have our permission.
That's tapping up otherwise.
Yeah, he must have our permission to go and talk to Tottenham. I think he's fucking mad. I think they've put him in a position. They've put themselves in a position where now they can't turn it down, because if he's openly talking about Tottenham and wanting to go to Tottenham and liking to go to Tottenham, and we don't deal to Tottenham and he has to stay here, he's fucked. He is fucked. Like, so he can't stay here now. Like, he's out the door. He's been talking to Tottenham. Apparently, he's gone very well. He's very open to playing for Tottenham. He can't come back here now. So they've blocked every sort of other exit apart from going to Tottenham, unless somebody else comes in with bigger money and he fancies it. If Tottenham have got in his ear roll and they've talked to him and he likes that, he is now in a position where he can turn around and go, Chelsea could come and offer 130 million pounds. I'm not going to Chelsea. I'm not going to Saudi and all that. I'm only going to Tottenham.
Why would he do that? Why would he choose Tottenham over Chelsea?
Exactly. You don't know. Why? You know, why did fucking...
Yeah, but you're talking about weird hypotheticals. Like,
I am talking about weird hypotheticals, but I'm just saying they've backed themselves into a corner, West Ham, by letting him talk to him so early.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like you said, is whether they have let him talk to him. At the end of the day, if they're letting a player talk to clubs, then they can talk to clubs. You know, just because it's just Tottenham and Tottenham has sold a decent package, I'm sure if another club comes in with a higher profile than Spurs, and at the end of the day, mate, money talks. It could be all lovely, like jubbly. Yeah, I'm going to Tottenham. I'm going to play for Tottenham. Chelsea come in and bung another $100,000 a week on his contract. He ain't going to go to Tottenham, because let's be honest, that's all these Premier League footballers care about. That's it.
He's got a chance to go to Saudi, and that'll confront all the wages that anyone will pay him.
Exactly. But and this is the thing: has any Saudi club come in for him yet? And that's the thing. You can sit there and say he's got the opportunity. He's got the opportunity to go any club in the world that actually want him. And that's the problem. Is again,
but
West Ham back
what do we do now, Scott? Right. So apparently our transfer business really, really depends on him leaving the club. Right now, do we call Tottenham's bluff? It's a big offer. It's a big offer, but it's not big enough, in my opinion, right? He's already talked himself into not being able to stay here, right? So what do we do now? Do we sit there and go, right, reject their offer, but we're going to hope that a Chelsea come in or a Saudi club come in for bigger money or whatever? Or are we in a position now where we just have to bite the bullet? Because
Yeah,
I
but then
can't
we're
see
mugging
it. I
ourselves
can't
off.
see-
We're mugging yourself off, right?
Exactly.
No,
So
we
then-
mugged ourselves. No, we've already mugged ourselves off by letting him talk to them. We should not have been opening discussions with Tottenham as a first port of call. No way.
But the
Because-
problem is, though, Nick, right, is that you're looking at that with a West Ham hat on. Yeah, you're looking at it as if to say, like, it's we can't sell to Tottenham no matter what. Right? At the end of the day, if the player...
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's Tottenham, right? I can't stand the club, as much as I can't stand Arsenal nowadays more than I can't stand Spurs. But at the end of the day, if they're willing to offer the money, then the player's gone. But it's got to meet
They're
your
not
valuation.
offering the money. They're offering below the money. And this is where I was reading last night. I know they've rejected it, but I think they're into a position now where there could have been a situation where they could have demanded the money, but I think they've shot themselves in the foot by letting them talk openly about it and letting it be known, because there's no way back for the man now.
No, but that's
There's
just
no way
that's the
back.
thing that, and you I get what you're saying there, and this is the big problem with West Ham being, they've got more leaks than the Titanic, mate, and that's the biggest issue that you've got, is there's leaks upon leaks upon leaks in this football club. And this is why it's not West Ham back themselves into the corner. It's these people who leak all these fucking stories that back us into corners. At the end of the day, if Bournemouth can turn down a bid for 70 million for a player that was good for them last season, the potential that Cudus has, we can turn down the offer until it reaches the offer that we want. And this is the thing. West Ham have got to start learning when they're selling players to do what every other club does to us and play hardball. And turn around and say, this is what we want. You want a player? If this is the man you want for your team and you're desperate to get him, pay us the money. That's all it boils down to. If he wants to go, let him go. There's no point having a player at the club.
No, I'm not opposed to him going, Scott, and I'm definitely not opposed to going into it. I don't give a shit where he goes. If he don't want to play for West Ham, he can go anywhere. I don't give a fuck. But
at the end of the day,
I think they've backed themselves into a corner by letting him openly talk to Tottenham, by letting him openly praise Tottenham, by letting him leak the fact that he wouldn't mind going there, and the discussions going well before any other clubs even bidded for him. I think they've put themselves into a corner because now he's openly said it. Yeah, if he gets into a position where we reject it and they don't come back in, he can't come back here.
But he can't because he's our player.
Yeah, but he's not going to.
But it don't matter. He's our player.
You can't say he can't come back.
Exactly.
There's no.
Listen, if I start the season on a flyer, mate, and bangs in 10 goals in 15 games, no one's going to give a shit that he was going to go to Tottenham in the summer.
He's not down tools or anything. All that's happened is West Ham have tried desperately to sell the geezer, so he started talking to one of the clubs that wanted to buy him after we've put him in the shop window. So if he don't get sold, we can't sit there and say, oh, well, you tried to speak to a club that wanted to sign you after we tried our hardest to sell you. That's our fault. We're the one trying to push to sell him and put him in the shop window.
But fans don't look at it like that, mate. They don't look at it like that. We should not be entertaining Tottenham. Any Tottenham approach for anyone. But that's and this is the problem, right? So when we had that Cudus discussion the other day, I've had a look on a couple of our shorts of comments on them, and this is the comments from the Tottenham fans. Why wouldn't he want to come here over your piece of shit club and all that sort of thing? And when we want to take your best players, we take them. We took Parker, we took Carrick, we took Defoe, we took Freddie Canute. When we want them, we'll take them. The difference is we're not in the fucking championship. Them players that they took, we was in the championship. We had no choice but to. We should not be dealing with because that is bowing down to your rivals, right? And it ain't a rivalry. It ain't a rivalry. Why wouldn't he want to come here? I'll tell you why he wouldn't want to come there, because you finished 17th in the fucking league last year. You won a cup, yeah, absolutely, but you finished below us in the league, and we were fucking diabolical. So yes, you're playing Champions League football the same way when we finished 14th, we was playing European football, UEFA Cup football. Yeah, you are playing that. You'll play 8 games in it, and you'll be knocked out, and you won't be getting back there next year. I can guarantee that now, right? So, it ain't as attractive as you fucking think going to play for fucking Poxy Tottenham, yeah. And if he wants to go and do that, and he's ready to fucking up sticks and leave, go across town to one of our biggest rivals, go and fuck him. You know what I mean? Fuck him. Anyway, I won't want him playing us, but we should never have put ourselves in that position where Tottenham was the opening one and it was open that he was talking to him.
Yeah, but I don't get it, because the thing is, you're saying fuck him if he wants to go there. If the club are saying,
that's my opinion.
I know, I'm challenging your opinion, which is fine.
But I'm just saying, for business, that's not great.
Yeah, I know it's not great,
but that's our biggest problem.
What I'm saying is, if you're criticizing him for entertaining going to Spurs, right? You're a player, foreign player coming here. The club are openly saying they want to sell this player. We want to sell him. We're trying to sell him, flaunting him about. And if Spurs come in, and they're the club most likely to come in for him, this club that you're at want you gone, want you sold. And he's supposed to sit there and go, "Oh, Spurs are a rival." No, not them.
No, but you haven't discussed it. You're openly discussing it. You're openly discussing it, and he's talking about liking the fact that he's going to go there. It's a big rival.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, well, I've seen it. It might be true. It might not be true.
Not being funny, mate. The thing is you've got
the fucking tweet up the other day.
Yeah, no, it didn't say where he said, "Oh, I want to go in public," but that's private to say that he was open to the move. He's not going out in public, sitting there and doing interviews, going, "Yeah, I'd love to go."
Open to the move, and it equates to one thing in a football fan's mind.
But why wouldn't he be open to it? Because we're trying to sell him, and they're the only ones trying to buy him. So why wouldn't he be open to it?
No,
these don't want me. These are in Champions League, and they do want me.
Players that play for your club should not be entertaining straight away going to the rivals.
Yeah, but Nick, this is what I'm saying. We are pushing him out the door. We're saying to him, "We don't want you." This club wants him, and we don't. So
yeah, and the thing is, he's
saying nothing. Get it done and say it all when you get there.
He's not saying anything. These are ITK reports. He's not saying anything.
It's coming from somewhere, Dan.
It's probably coming from agents and shit like that. If anything, what it's probably is, and this is what happens a lot with agents, it's a, "Hello, I could be moving here. Come and get me better clubs." Hello, Chelsea.
Could be.
Right? That's a lot of the time what it is, because if it looks like it's close to joining, other clubs get their arse in gear and just think, "Shit, he's open to going."
This is it. And let's be honest.
I hope for his sake that is it, because if he ends up there, after the first round of talks, he goes.
You don't give a shit if he goes there.
No, but I'm just for his. I didn't say for my sake. I don't give a shit where he goes. I'm saying for his sake, because when he comes back to that London Stadium, mate, fucking hell.
Well, that's what. Yeah, and that's fair. But it's fair game
from a big far distance. Yeah,
that's a fair game. Rice gets it, and Rice understands it. It's fair game. Like, you go to another club, right, like that fans don't like, you're going to get it. You're always going to get stick going back. It's fair to you that you'll get stick. If he goes Chelsea, he should get stick because he's playing for Chelsea. But I'd rather he go Chelsea. Unless it's shit.
But that's what it boils down to. Like you said, you don't really want to see him. Ideally, you want Cudus out the country playing for someone who we're not going to be playing up against. No matter who it is, you don't want to see him carrying on in the Premier League. You want him.
I think he'll have the same problems at Tottenham as he's had with us. I think he'll have a good start and he'll peter off, because I don't think he's going to.
Do you know what one of his big issues is, right? Is he's really good on the ball. He's good at making things happen and moving around. His end product is a problem, because we see it, Scott. We sit in the same time and time again, head down. There's a player there in a better position. He'd rather try and shoot from an impossible position, hit it side net in, then cut back and pass it to someone in a better situation. That's a big problem.
It's a big problem with a lot of better players, mate. That's the thing.
Yeah, and he wasn't turning up for the lesser games. He was only turning up for the big games.
Yeah, and that is the issue with him. He was a big time player. Now, that first season, he looked completely different to last season. Last season, he just turned up.
Last season, I think the Arsenal game, I thought he was magnificent.
Yeah, because
that's what I'm saying. The big games.
Yeah, big games. Yeah, putting himself on a pedestal. But it was always going to be that. But Tottenham ain't a big club. I'm sorry, but they're not. They're not an Arsenal, and they're not a Man City, or they're a sideways step.
I said this earlier.
They're not an elite level club. That's the difference.
No, they're not.
They think they're elite level, but they're not an elite level club.
No, but this is the thing. What I said about the move on Potts channel, right? Is they're a very volatile club in the fact of they have Champions League now. But you sign there, you're not going there to be a Champions League player season in, season out. They'll be fucking back in the shit within 1 to 2 seasons, and then you're down mid-table. all of a sudden wondering what the hell happened. Like they're not a consistent top.
No, they've got into it by sheer fucking luck, Dan. Let's be honest. They've got into it by... No, they won the cup. I'm not going to say sheer luck. But their fucking route there wasn't exactly fucking laced with fucking gold, was it? They weren't playing the fucking top team. They won it in a competition where there was no Champions League drop down. If there had been a Champions League drop down, they wouldn't have won that cup.
Yeah. If they had the season before when we was if they had that Europa League where we got knocked out to Leverkusen,
mate, no chance in a fucking million years would they have made that cut. Yes, that was very impressive in a Frankfurt game, but the semi-final against that Bodo Glimt or whatever the fuck that was, that I think any Premier League team would have beat them, and they beat Poxy Man United. We beat Man United twice, and we're fucking shits.
Yeah, that's it. Like, look, there was an element of fortune to them getting to that Champions League.
But there we go. Look, Ian Bruniesa says our route to our cup win wasn't exactly hard either, to be fair. But I'm not talking about our cup win. I'm talking about why they're in the Champions League, because they finished below us, 17th in the fucking league, 17th in the league.
At the end of the day, they won the competition, and that's the prize at the end of the competition.
Yeah, and they prized someone who was fucking 16th in the fucking league at the time.
Scott, when you're weighing up, when you're weighing up a club, Scott, to go to, and you say, right, you're looking at that club not just for next season, for the next, say, 5 seasons, right? What's the projection for this club of where they're, what trajectory are they on? Mm-hmm. You look at it and you say, well, in the Champions League. Well, why are they in the Champions League? They finished 17th last season, and they won the easiest Europa League in the history of the Europa League. Now, I don't take that away from them in terms of their trophy, but in terms of assessing where they are as a football club and what their needs going forward, it's a big jump for them to go from 17th to being competing for Champions League football next season, because not only if they are in the Champions League, right, which means they're going to have to play their first team twice a week, right? They're going to have to rebuild their squad massively to try and bridge that gap. That's a huge gap to bridge. And Cudus is going to go there and expect he's one of the big boys. He's up there with Chelsea and Liverpool.
But the thing is, like, Dan, is what you're being sold, right? So you look at it coming and take the West Ham hat off, right? Yeah, you're going to a side that's just won a trophy, a European trophy. They're playing in the Champions League. They've got a manager that's been doing great things at Brentford. So this is a new, exciting project, with Champions League football.
They've also had a manager that was doing great things at Wolves. They've also had a manager that's doing great things over in fucking Australia, wherever the fuck they got him from. Doesn't necessarily...
It doesn't necessarily count for anything. But what I'm saying to you is, you look at, take the West Ham hat off.
I'm not. But West Ham's hats off, Scott. Is what I'm saying is you're looking at it, right? Yes, they're in Champions League. Yes, they have a new manager, right? But there's nothing there to suggest that they're an exciting project and they're going to be in Champions League and compete in Champions League season after season. Thomas Frank is an unproven quantity at that level, right?
Yep,
he's done a good job at Brentford. But at the same time, he hasn't ever got Europe with Brentford. He's never played in Europe with him.
Who's done a better job? Who's done a better job?
But for Brentford,
who's done a better job?
Yes, but that doesn't mean he's going to be a Champions League level manager.
Thomas Frank done a better job, or has the Crystal Palace manager done a better job?
Yeah, you've got to say Glasner.
I get what you're saying, because he's won a trophy.
He's won the FA Cup, Scott, against Man City.
Yeah,
makes a good point. Yeah, and no one's denying this, mate.
We're not comparing. No one's comparing.
We're a mess. We're not comparing them. We're just saying would he be better?
We're not saying he's been West Ham or
absolutely fucking not. He can't stay here because we are a fucking mess, right?
They're in a better position than us. Let's listen.
They are. But just
third. However, this is the thing, Nick, right? If you're going to leave a club, you're going to make a move. You've got, like, Cudus has options. If he wants to jump to any club to get out, you can jump to any club. But if he's smart and takes his time, like Chelsea are a much more attractive proposition. But there are options out there.
Right. Yeah, Dan, I agree with you. Chelsea is a better proposition, right? But are Chelsea actually interested in him? This is the thing. You're looking at all the speculation, right? Yeah, Real Madrid's a better proposition Bayern Munich's a better proposition.
Yeah, but Chelsea
Are they
are
coming in
looking
for him? No, and this is the thing. At the end of the day, right? Whether we think whether what we think about Spurs or where Spurs are going to be finished next season, he will. If he goes there, he will be playing in the Champions League. And at the end of the day, it's another stepping stone. And that's how you got to look at it. They're going to pay him more money wages. He's going to get a signing on bonus. He's going to be playing in Champions League football.
Israeli champions.
The window opens up to him even more.
Does that mean he's going to go to the Israeli champions? No.
Yeah.
No, of course it doesn't. But the profile of Tottenham in the Premier League playing in the Champions League is a lot higher than what you do.
No, I understand. I agree with everyone. Right, they are a better prospect right now, but they're not a million miles away.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, they ain't the club. That is not the stone I would be stepping for if I was him. Yeah,
and it's not that easy, Scott, to think that he can go there as a stepping stone. Because yes, you go to that club, you sign a contract, right? Say he signs a contract, goes to Spurs, they miss out on European football next season, right? Have a shit season. He can't then just go, all right, well, I'm on the stepping stone now. Go to Liverpool, right? Now Salah's gone. Like it's not that easy.
Can't do that. But
Spurs are going to want more.
If he goes there and is their best player in the Champions League, is their best player in the league, it's still a stepping stone, isn't it?
But he has a contract, Scott. Like if Spurs don't want to sell him, or they put a massive because if they pay 60 mil, Scott, they're going to want a big. They're going to want a big profit on that. If he's their best player, Scott, after they pay 6 million and he's their best player, he goes over 100 million. He starts getting into conversations where clubs go, "No, I'm not going to spend."
But then you get into a price point, Scott, where he's very limited at where he's going, and he's very limited to find a club there. So you'll be stuck there. I think he would be better off making a Chelsea move now. This is my opinion, right? But I don't give a shit what he does. And let me make this clear: I do not give a shit what he does. But I think in terms of himself, he would be better making a Chelsea move now, where they're long term better off prospects for the league and all that, rather than moving to Tottenham and hoping that he's got to be good enough. Then they pay 65 million pounds for him again. They want another third for him, so 100 million. You're going into a very elite crop of clubs. Is he going to be good enough to get to that elite crop of clubs? I don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows, right? And then you're very limited to an amount of, like, if he goes over 100 million, will Chelsea be able to buy him? Will Bayern Munich be able to buy him? I don't know. Probably not.
And in some instances, you look at it this way, right?
Yeah, then.
If I'm him, right? I mean, look,
fucking Richarlison and fucking all them guys. You know what I mean?
But you've got the opportunity to go there and be their best player.
But he's our best. Well, he's not our best player, really.
No, but he's got the opportunity to go there and be their best player.
He can be though, Scott. He can be. That is the frustrating thing with him. He can be. He's got all the tools to be.
I don't think he will be. I think
it will be a very, very similar situation. I think he'll be Champions League season. I think he'll be fucking right at it. And then when they're not in the Champions League next year, or if they don't get in it, I'm not going to say when they're not in it, because they might well get in it. You never know. You know what I mean? They have had pre-season there. But if they don't get in it next year and they're fucking sort of languishing around mid-table, I think it's another case where he downs tools and then he's fucked.
Yep.
And then he's fucked.
But he's fucked earning more money than what he's earning now, and that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah, but he's not going to get silly.
I want to pay him more money. You know what I'm going to pay him.
Yeah, he's on. What is he on at us? 100 and what is he on? What are we paying him? 115, 100 and something like that. Like Spurs don't pay silly wages. They don't do the 250 grand a week, and so he'll make a little bit more probably. They'll have to give him some more money, right? He'll have to get marginally more money. But I'm just saying, Scott, like he could just rush off to the first club that comes, and that's Spurs. Mm-hmm. But long term, it might be better for him to wait. And obviously, look, we're trying to push him out. So,
and that's the thing. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm looking at it. Why, as I said, I'm taking my West Ham off. Why someone would want to go to Spurs, and that's the reasons.
No,
okay, I'm just saying for a short-term reason, Scott. And I think players mostly and their agents should probably look more long-term, because you could just look. If you look at just now, Scott, in the present, they are in Champions League football.
Yep,
he could be one of their best players. He could go to flipping, Newcastle. Said to be interested. He could go there. He don't want to go there, but he could be their best player. You know, if Forest qualify for Champions League, he could have gone there, but he wouldn't have wanted to go there because they're not big enough.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm going to have a dog wants to go out.
I get it, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just taking the West Ham hat off and looking at him why they're more of a attractive prospect than us. And what you'd want.
All right. Well, on that note, as Nicky needs to go,
the dog needs to go out. He's just scratching my legs. He needs to go out in the back garden.
Great debate. Thank you, everyone, for joining. When did you take your West Ham hats off, Scott? Yeah, I know that's what he's been saying about. Take your West Ham hat off. Take it off. Yeah, where is it? West Ham hats here somewhere.
Last week I was pulling up trees, so this week I'm taking my West Ham hat off.
He's taking West Ham. Take West Ham hat off. Yeah, here goes Nicky.
Nicky's gone. See you later, Nick.
Nicky's gone. See you later, Nick. Saying goodbye. Yes. So great debate, great chat, and listen, we'll be on top of all this news, all this transfer stuff, and all that jazz, and trying to stay cool.
You never know, mate. We might have signed a player by the time we do next Friday night.
Might sign a player. You never know. Stranger things have happened, Scott.
Yep.
Pulling up trees after taking your West Ham hat off. Yeah, you got to. Otherwise, you're going to sweat with your West Ham hat on. So you take it off, and then you pull in the trees, which is hard labour.
That's it, mate. That's it.
Yeah, thank you all for watching. You make this a really good show, and we love interacting with you. So keep up to date, and we'll see you soon. One thing left to say: come on, you irons.